Untouchables or the Children of India's Ghetto by Baba Sahib Ambedkar. Part 3, Chapter 11, The Hindu and His Belief in Caste. Among the Hindu social reformers, there is a moderate section. This section holds that untouchability is separate from the caste system. Following this ideology, they hold that it is possible to remove untouchability without attacking the caste system. The religious minded Hindu is as opposed to the removal of untouchability as he is to the removal of the caste system. He is opposed to dealing with social reform in two stages as he is in dealing with it in one stage. But the politically minded Hindu is tremendously fond of the idea. That is obviously for two reasons. In the first place, it gives the Hindu the chance of showing himself an international world as a better specimen of democracy than he really is. Secondly, by leaving caste alone, there is no risk of the caste Hindus forsaking the Congress. Those who propose to deal with untouchability without damaging the caste system rest their case on verse 4 of chapter 10 of the Manusmriti. In the verse, Manu says that there are only four varnas and there is no fifth varna. This verse is interpreted to mean that the untouchables are included in the fourth varna, that they are part of the Shudras, and as there is no objection to touching the Shudras, there could be no objection to touching the untouchables. However pleasing this construction may be to the politically minded Hindu, it does accord with the intention of Manu wanted to convey. The verse is open to another construction. It may mean that Manu was not prepared to enlarge the Chaturvarna and make it a Panchavarna by recognizing these communities which were outside the four Varnas as constituting a fifth one. In saying that there is no fifth Varna, what he means to suggest is that he did not want to incorporate those outside the four Varnas into Hindu society by making the Hindu society consist of five Varnas instead of four. That he wanted to convey the latter intention is abundantly clear by speaking of a category of people as Bhayas or Varna Bhayas, which means those outside the Varna system. If Manu wanted to include all persons within the four Varnas, there was no reason for speaking of some people as Varna Bhayas. Instead, he recognizes two subdivisions within the class of Varna Bhayas. He calls them Hinas and Anteyasins. Given these facts, it is obvious that the construction sought to be placed in the verse in the Manusmriti will not deceive the orthodox Hindu into accepting that the maintenance of untouchability is contrary to the Manusmriti and that its abolition is not therefore contrary to the tenets of the Hindu religion. The argument based on the interpretation of Manu's text is too intellectual for the ordinary uneducated Hindu. He knows only two things. One thing he knows is that there are three barriers in the matter of social intercourse which he must observe. They are prohibition against interdining, prohibition against intermarriage, while in untouchability there is a third barrier added, and that is prohibition against physically touching certain class of people. The first two barriers make up the caste. The third forms untouchability. The caste Hindu does not bother about the number of barriers. He is particular about the observance of the barrier. When he is asked not to observe, he turns around and asks, why not? His argument is that if I am free to observe the first two barriers, what is wrong if I observe the third? Psychologically, caste and untouchability are one integral system based on one and the same principle. If the caste Hindu observe untouchability, it is because they believe in caste. Looked at from this point of view, the idea of hoping to remove untouchability without destroying the caste system is utter futility. The underlying idea that caste and untouchability are two separate things is founded on a fallacy. The two are one and are inseparable. Untouchability is only an extension of the caste system. There can be no severance between the two. The two stand together and will fall together. There is another reason why untouchability cannot disappear by a stratagem, legal or rational. As has already been pointed out, the Hindu social order is based on the principle of graded inequality. It may not mean exaggeration to say that not many people understand the significance of this principle. The social system based on inequality stands on a different footing from a social system based on graded inequality. The former is a weak system which is not capable of self preservation. The latter, on the other hand, is capable of self preservation. In a social system based on inequality, the low orders can combine to overthrow the system. None of them have any interest to preserve it. In a social system based on graded inequality, the possibility of a general common attack by the aggrieved parties is non existent. In a system of graded inequality, the aggrieved parties are not on a common level. This can happen only when they are only high and low. In the system of graded inequality, there are the highest, which are the Brahmins. Below the highest are the higher, the Kshatriyas. Below the higher are those who are high, Vaishya. Below the high are the low, Shudra. And below the low are those who are the lower, the untouchables. All have a grievance against the highest and would like to bring about their downfall, but they will not combine. The higher is anxious to get rid of the highest, but does not wish to combine with the high. The low and the lower, lest they should reach his level and be his equal. The high wants to overthrow the higher who is above him, but does not want to join horns with the low and the lower, lest they should rise in status and become equal to him in rank. The low is anxious to pull down the highest, the higher, and the high, but he would not make a common cause with the lower for fear of the lower gaining a higher status and becoming his equal in the system of graded inequality. There is no such class as completely unprivileged class except the one which is at the base of the social pyramid. The privileges of the rest are graded. Even the low is a privileged class as compared with the lower. Each class being privileged, every class is interested in maintaining the social system. Untouchability may be a misfortune to the untouchables, but there is no doubt that it is a good fortune to the Hindus. It gives them a class which they can look down upon. The Hindus do not want a system in which nobody will be anybody. They also do not want a system in which everybody will be somebody. They want a system in which they will be somebodies and others will be nobodies. The untouchables are nobodies. This makes the Hindus somebodies. The system of untouchability sustains the natural pride of the Hindus and makes them feel as well as look big. This is an additional reason why the Hindus are not likely to give up untouchability, particularly those large majority who are small men. Untouchability will vanish only when the whole of the Hindu social order, particularly the caste system, will be dissolved. Is this possible? Every institution is sustained by some sort of a sanction. There are three kinds of sanctions which supply life force to an institution. They are legal, social, and religious. The vitality of the institution depends upon the nature of the sanction. What is the nature of the sanction behind the caste system? Unfortunately, the sanction behind the caste system is the religious sanction. For the caste, as a new form of the Varna system, derives its sanction from the Vedas, which form the sacred book of the Hindu religion and which are infallible. I say unfortunately because anything which has a religious sanction becomes by virtue of it sacred and eternal. To the Hindu, caste is sacred and caste is eternal. If caste cannot vanish, what hope is there for untouchability to disappear? The end.